audience here at the, but technically we want to cover, we had some people from Colorado we wanted to share with the viewers here tonight, and typical large western range type of operation. And Bill, they mentioned in there that the Midwest is a prime area for sheep production, but there are other areas of the country, as you say, moving out to the west. Maybe talk about that a little bit as we go from east to Midwest and now out west.
Well, I'll talk about some of the East and Midwest opportunities that I see, and then I'll turn it to
Sure.
Margaret to talk about some of the things she sees from the West. From the Midwest, we see growth across an awful lot of different areas and in the Southeast. And the reason we do is because the sheep is so flexible at fitting either tight labor operations or utilizing a lot of different feedstuffs. We've talked about some of that this evening, how they work well in concert with cattle. How they can work for people that don't have a lot of labor or are capital, have not a lot of capital available to the operations, or not a lot of land available to the operation. Sheep can still work well. We have seen a lot of growth in people converting from other livestock businesses. Just recently in Sheep Industry News, we highlighted a poultry producer who really saw sheep as an opportunity for them when their poultry marketing opportunities went away. And there's just tremendous amount of opportunity, and all these new markets that are developing give producers so much more chance.
We have about 5 minutes before we have to say goodnight, but let's talk about then that the Colorado operations, which we would kind of consider, Margaret, as the typical Western range. But how do they successfully market their lambs and market the wools out, the wool in those areas?
Yeah, typically the larger Western range operations have some of the finer wools that provide, there's just a tremendous opportunity and demand for those finer wools, and that's really nice. Some of the operations out in the West, they're doing marketing into, I'm sorry that we couldn't see the video of the Theos operation because it's really remarkable what they're doing. They're doing some direct marketing into Whole Foods and working with them in when we're talking about the natural, sustainable properties of lamb and the local food movement, going into doing a lot of marketing into the restaurant trade, direct into restaurants, identifying the producer with the product. All of those things are great opportunities.
Right.
Margaret, if I may add on something there, I think you made a great point, is that we look at USDA initiative that they have right now that is Know Your Food, Know Your Farmer. And I think the sheep industry, coast to coast, a lot of producers are taking advantage of that. They're selling lambs either directly to consumers, they're selling them to co-ops, they're selling them to food service, to farmers markets, and they really, lamb is a tremendous opportunity for consumers to come and buy and know where their food came from.
Absolutely.
Well, we have just enough time for us to say goodnight, and wish we had more time for calls, but we want to make sure that each of you have a chance to have some closing thoughts to share with our viewers. We've covered a lot of ground. It's a lot of great news when you talk about sheep. Bill, I'll start with you. Great to have you here, by the way, and I hope you'll come back and see us, but closing thoughts you'd have for our viewers.
Well, thank you, Mark. Just there's a tremendous opportunity right now, and there's so many diverse opportunities. We would just encourage all producers to look at your operation, to investigate opportunities, and see what can work for you.
And they can, we'll be talking about the website, but again, you cover a lot of areas in the Southeast where there's a lot of growth, and any of our viewers in Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, I mean, they could come to you and you could put them in show them the right way, their direction rather, to who to get in contact with.
There is a lot of local resources, and certainly you encourage people to turn to those state sheep associations. 46 states have their own state sheep association. Many of those have their own websites. We do in Tennessee, many other states. There's a lot of local opportunities. Certainly Extension Services across the country has a lot of resources, and direct producer to producer is a great way.
Great. Good to have you with us, Bill.
Thank you.
Margaret, good to have you as well. And closing thoughts. thoughts you'd have for viewers?
Well, I would just remind viewers, as Bill said, that there's tremendous opportunities in the sheep industry, whether you're focusing on the wool aspect of the sheep industry, whether it's lambs, whether it's using grazing for environmental purposes. So the opportunities are just wide open. Sheep dairying is becoming more and more popular here in the U.S. So sheep will fit into any type of operation. And I would also say that the industry is full of wonderful people who are more than willing to share their knowledge and experiences. And so to please contact ASI or the local state sheep association.
Well, you three are certainly examples of that. And Peter Ulrich, Executive Director, great to have you here tonight. And your closing thoughts for our viewers from your vantage point.
As we've heard tonight from the producers on this panel, the comments from the producers interviewed in the videos, very evident this is a solid business, and what I think is unique is they're welcoming other producers, people that have land or farms, and they're looking to diversify, to join them and tens of thousands of farm and ranch families across America that have found success with the sheep business.
All right. Peter, thank you for being here as well. Great to have you with us. Hope you'll come back and see us from the American sheep industry. And the convention coming up real quick in Reno in January. They'll be welcome to come out to Reno, right?
Absolutely. The 19th through the 22nd in Reno, Nevada.
In January of 2011. So put that on your calendar. You can go to the website, viewers, and learn more about the convention, about the sheep industry as well. Maybe you'll be our next success story. From all of us here at RFD TV, we thank you for joining us, and good night from rural America's most important network.